Welcome to Shattered Sky Stories. Remember to hit the like button and the subscribe button so you don't miss any sci-fi stories. Now sit back and enjoy. The energy net screamed through the void, its plasma filaments crackling as Adam Jones fought to control the massive fishing rig. Alarms shrieked across platform Leviathan while the void fisherman gritted his teeth, his hands dancing across controls that flickered with each surge of feedback from his catch. Cut the line. Guildmaster Voss's voice boomed across the comm. Whatever you've hooked is overloading the entire grid. But Adam couldn't let go. Through the neural link that connected him to his net, he felt something extraordinary, not the familiar cold emptiness of harvesting dark matter creatures, but something warm, intelligent, desperate. For the first time in his 3 years as a void fisherman, Adam felt like he was drowning something that didn't want to die. The platform shuddered as power conduits overloaded. Emergency lights bathed the observation deck in hellish red as Adam's fellow fishermen fled the cascade failure. Only Adam remained, his hands locked to the controls by an invisible force he couldn't name. Through the transparent aluminum viewing wall, he watched his energy net writhe in the star-flecked darkness. What should have been empty space now rippled with distortion, as if reality itself bent around whatever he had caught. The creature pulled against his net with increasing desperation, and Adam felt its panic as clearly as his own. Jones? Voss stormed across the deck, his cybernetic eye glowing red. The guildmaster reached for the emergency release. "I'm cutting your line." "No." Adam spun away from his station. "There's something alive in there. Something different." Before Voss could answer, the platform lurched violently. Through the observation wall, they watched something vast and impossible materialize within the energy net's embrace. Not a dark matter creature. Those were formless things of shadow, but a sleek, silver vessel that bent light around itself. A ship. Adam's memories flickered to his first day on platform Leviathan. Guildmaster Voss had explained their sacred duty, casting energy nets into the darkness to harvest exotic matter that powered human civilization. The dark matter creatures were just animals, Voss had said. Predators that threatened shipping lanes. "We are the shepherds of space," Voss had declared. "Without us, these creatures would multiply and consume every star in the galaxy." Adam had believed him then. But now, feeling the terror and intelligence pulsing through his neural link, he began to understand that everything he'd been told was a lie. The ship that emerged from Adam's net was unlike anything in the guild's databases. Its hull shifted between visible and invisible, existing only partially in their dimension. Emergency lights played across its surface like aurora, revealing elegant curves that spoke of advanced engineering far beyond human capability. "Impossible," Voss breathed, his cybernetic eye recording everything. "There are no ships in this sector." The ship's distress beacon cut him off, broadcasting on frequencies that made the platform's arrays scream. But beneath the electronic shriek, Adam heard something else. A voice, alien but unmistakably intelligent, calling for help. "It's trying to communicate," Adam said. "If I can modulate the net's frequency." "Touch those controls and I'll have you spaced," Voss snarled, drawing his plasma pistol. "That ship is clearly hostile." Dr. Elena Vasquez pushed through the crowd, her scanner already analyzing the ship's energy signature. "Guildmaster, the readings match our harvested specimens exactly. It's almost as if it's made of the same material as the creatures we've been hunting." The observation deck fell silent. Through the neural link, Adam felt the ship's pilot's growing weakness. They were injured and running out of time. "We have to help them," Adam said quietly. "Help them?" "That ship was probably studying our operations, planning an attack." Voss gestured to his security team. "I know that our harvest operations are vital to human survival. I won't let some alien saboteur destroy everything we've built." Through the observation window, they watched the cloaked ship's hull flicker more rapidly, its camouflage failing as power drained from its core. "Bring that ship aboard," Voss commanded. "We'll interrogate the pilot." "And then?" Adam asked, though he already knew the answer. Voss's cybernetic eye glowed brighter. "Then we'll make sure they can't report back. The fishing grounds are humanity's lifeline, Jones." As security teams moved to carry out their orders, Adam made a decision that would change everything. His hands flew across his interface, not to release the net as Voss expected, but to establish a communication link. The neural interface flooded his consciousness with alien thoughts: pain, desperate hope, and something else: compassion. The pilot wasn't studying their operations to plan an attack. They were trying to save the very creatures the guild was harvesting, creatures that weren't mindless predators but children. Infants of a sentient species that used the void between stars as their nursery. Stop him. Voss roared, but Adam was already moving. He reversed the net's polarity, turning the massive fishing rig into a lifeline that pulled the damaged ship toward platform Leviathan's docking bay. Plasma fire sizzled past his head as Voss opened fire, but Adam was already diving through the emergency exit. Behind him, he could hear the guildmaster screaming orders, declaring him a traitor. But Adam knew the truth now, had felt it flowing through the neural link like ice water in his veins. They weren't fishermen at all. They were child killers. The maintenance tunnels beneath platform Leviathan became Adam's salvation as security teams combed the upper levels. He crawled through ventilation shafts barely wide enough for his shoulders, emergency lights casting everything in hellish red. The alien ship had reached the docking bay before its systems failed. Through security feeds, Adam watched guild teams surround the vessel, weapons drawn. The pilot hadn't emerged. They were either unconscious or waiting. Adam had to reach them first. The shaft opened into a waste recycling center where Dr. Elena Vasquez stood among processing units, her scanner trained on samples she'd brought in secret. Her hands shook as she studied the readings. Adam? She spun as he emerged from the ventilation shaft. What are you doing here? Running from security. What are you doing here, Doc? Elena's gaze flicked to her samples, chunks of processed dark matter glowing faintly under her scanner's beam. I've been analyzing the creatures we harvest. Ever since that ship appeared, I've been looking for connections. And? The ship's hull isn't just made of the same material as our prey. It's grown from it. Cultivated. She held up her scanner, displaying molecular diagrams. Adam, I think we've been harvesting their young. Before Adam could respond, the recycling center's door exploded inward. Security teams poured through, led by Guildmaster Voss. Dr. Vasquez, I'm disappointed, Voss said calmly. I expected better from my chief science officer. Guildmaster, you need to see these readings. The creatures aren't what we thought. I know exactly what they are, Voss replied. They're resources. What they were before is irrelevant. They're children, Adam said, stepping protectively in front of Elena. The ship's pilot was trying to tell us. This isn't a hunting ground, it's a nursery. Then you're either a fool or a traitor. Voss gestured to his team. Take them. The first plasma bolt missed Adam by inches as he dove behind a recycling unit. Then the lights went out. In absolute darkness, Adam heard something impossible. A voice speaking in harmonics that bypassed his ears and resonated in his bones. The alien pilot had reached the platform systems, communicating through electromagnetic fields. Help us, the voice whispered. Please. They're dying. Emergency lighting flickered back online, revealing chaos. Half of Voss's security team lay unconscious, their neural implants sparking from electromagnetic pulse. The guildmaster staggered against a support pillar, his cybernetic eye dark. Move. Adam grabbed Elena's arm, pulling her toward a maintenance hatch. Behind them, Voss barked orders into his backup communicator. As they descended into deeper maintenance levels, Elena clutched her samples like precious gems. How did they get into our systems? I don't think they got in, Adam replied. I think they've been here all along. In the matter we've been harvesting. If he was right, then every void fishing platform in human space was powered by the processed remains of sentient children. They had to reach the alien pilot. They had to learn the truth. The journey to the docking bay took them through platform Leviathan's darkest sections. Adam led Elena through passages filled with failing systems and decades of accumulated detritus, following routes he'd memorized during sleepless nights exploring forgotten spaces. They found the auxiliary entrance behind a bulkhead that hadn't been opened in 20 years. Adam burned through corroded seals with his plasma cutter, filling the passage with acrid smoke. Beyond lay a scene from a nightmare. The alien ship sat in the docking bay's center like a wounded bird, its hull flickering between visibility and transparency. Guild security had established a perimeter, but half the soldiers stood motionless, their faces blank with an expression Adam recognized from his neural link experience. They were listening to something. The entire area is saturated with exotic matter particles, Elena whispered, raising her scanner. It's like the ship is bleeding its essence into the air. One security guard broke formation and walked slowly toward the ship, his movements dreamlike. When he reached the vessel's hull, he simply stood there, pressing his palm against the shifting metal. It's trying to communicate with everyone, Adam realized. Guildmaster Voss's voice echoed across the bay. Fall back to the outer perimeter. Seal the bay and prepare to flood it with neurotoxin. He's going to kill the pilot, Elena gasped. Not if we get there first. They emerged through a service hatch near the ship's stern. Up close, the vessel seemed grown rather than built, with organic curves that suggested it was as much living creature as spacecraft. The pilot emerged slowly through an airlock that dilated like an iris. Adam's first glimpse of alien intelligence was surprisingly ordinary, bipedal, roughly humanoid, but with skin that shifted color like the ship's hull and eyes that reflected light like deep water. They were clearly injured, one arm hanging useless. "Please," the pilot said, their voice carrying harmonic qualities that had resonated through Adam's neural link. "You must understand. The young ones, they are not animals." Elena knelt beside the wounded alien. "We know. They're children, aren't they?" The pilot's color shifted to something Adam recognized as grief. "Our young mature in the void between stars, feeding on cosmic radiation until they can join the community. This region has been their nursery for 10,000 years. And we've been killing them," Adam said. "Harvesting," the pilot corrected sadly. "You take them before they're formed, process their essence for energy. In your ignorance, you have committed genocide against a species that wished only to coexist." Elena's hands shook as she activated her medical kit. "How many? In this nursery alone?" "Thousands. Across all your fishing grounds?" The pilot's colors darkened beyond grief. "Millions." The docking bay's doors burst open as guild forces poured in, led by Voss. The guild master had replaced his damaged cybernetic eye with a military targeting system that bathed the ship in red laser light. "Step away from the hostile," Voss commanded. "You're under arrest for treason." "Treason?" Adam stood, placing himself between Voss and the pilot. "We're trying to prevent genocide. You're protecting an enemy saboteur who threatens our entire way of life." Voss raised his plasma rifle. "Humanity needs the exotic matter we harvest. Without it, our civilization will collapse. Built on the corpses of children. Built on resources. What they were before doesn't matter. What matters is human survival." The pilots struggled to their feet, supported by Adam. When they spoke, their voice carried new strength. "Your species is young. You expand through space like wildfire, consuming everything. But there is another way. My people have lived among the stars for millennia without destroying those who came before. We can teach you if you will listen." "I've heard enough." Voss's targeting system locked onto the pilot's chest. "Surrender the saboteur." Adam felt the neural link flare back to life, carrying not just the pilot's consciousness but something vast and ancient. Through their connection, he sensed adult members of their species, beings of such size and complexity that they existed partially outside normal space-time, watching the destruction of their young with the patience of mountains and the sorrow of dying stars. "They're coming," Adam whispered. "Who?" "The parents." The platform shuddered as something vast moved through the void beyond its hull. Through the bay's transparent walls, Adam saw space itself ripple and fold as creatures the size of continents materialized. They moved like living galaxies, their forms composed of exotic matter but ancient and intelligent beyond human comprehension. The pilot's colors shifted to hope as they felt their people's presence. "You called this a nursery. But every nursery has parents. And they have come to see what happened to their children." The adult beings surrounding platform Leviathan defied human comprehension. Through the bay's windows, Adam watched creatures that existed on astronomical scales. They moved through space like living nebulae, their forms shifting between dimensions as they communicated through gravitational waves that made the platform's hull ring like a bell. "They're massive," Elena whispered, her scanner overloading. "Each one larger than Earth's moon." The pilot's colors brightened. "The elders have come to witness. They will see what has been done to the young ones, and they will decide humanity's fate." Voss backed away from the windows. "This is human space. We have territorial rights." "You have been feeding on our children for 50 years, the pilot replied. "What rights remain to a species that commits genocide from ignorance?" Through the neural link, Adam felt the elders' attention focusing on platform Leviathan. Their consciousness was vast but not hostile, more like scientists studying a dangerous specimen. He sensed their debate, carried out through electromagnetic patterns beyond human understanding. Some wanted to simply remove humanity from the nursery regions. Others suggested a more permanent solution. But a few proposed something different. "They want to judge us," Adam realized. "Not just punish us but determine if we're capable of growth." "And how?" Elena asked. The pilot's colors shifted to anticipation. "They will test your species representative. The one who first heard our call and chose compassion over duty." All eyes turned to Adam, who felt the weight of civilization settling on his shoulders. Through the link, he sensed the elders' expectations. They wanted to judge humanity through him. "No pressure," he muttered. Voss stepped forward, rifle trained on the pilot. "This ends now. I'm not letting some alien tribunal determine humanity's future based on the actions of a traitor." "Look around you, Guildmaster," Elena said. "We're surrounded by beings that exist on a cosmic scale. They could destroy us with a thought. Then why haven't they?" "Because they are hoping you will prove worthy of survival," the pilot said. Through the windows, one of the massive beings began extending what might have been a sensory appendage, a structure of folded space and exotic matter that approached with geological patience. As it neared the hull, Adam felt his neural link expand beyond anything he'd experienced, his consciousness connected to the vast intelligence of the Elder itself. The sensation overwhelmed him. Adam found himself experiencing existence from the perspective of a being that had watched stars be born and die. Through the Elder's memories, he saw humanity as they truly were, a young, aggressive species expanding through space like a virus, consuming resources without regard for consequences. But he also saw their potential. Hidden beneath the aggression was capacity for growth, for compassion, for becoming something more than mere consumers. "What do they want from me?" Adam asked. "To choose," the pilot replied. "For your entire species. Between the path of the destroyer and the path of the gardener." The choice came with visions that made Adam's heart race. Through the neural link, the elders showed him humanity's possible futures. In one, they continued their expansion unchecked, harvesting exotic matter from nurseries across the galaxy until they had driven the pilot species to extinction. Their civilization collapsed anyway, having consumed everything that could sustain it. In the other future, humanity learned to work with the elders, becoming gardeners of space rather than harvesters. They still had access to exotic matter, but only what was freely given by willing partners. Their technology advanced in new directions, guided by species that had mastered living among the stars without destroying them. "The choice is simple," the pilot explained. "Your species must cease harvesting operations immediately and work with us to establish new sources of exotic matter, or face the consequences of 50 years of genocide." "And if we refuse?" Voss demanded. Through the neural link, Adam felt the elders' response like cold wind. They would phase-shift the nursery regions out of normal space-time, making them inaccessible to human technology. Without exotic matter, humanity's colonies would fail within decades. Not extinction, but slow retreat back to their home system. "Unacceptable," Voss snarled. "Humanity will never submit to alien oversight." "Then humanity will return to darkness between worlds," the pilot replied sadly. Adam felt the weight of billions of lives. Every human in space depended on exotic matter for survival. But continuing as they were meant perpetuating genocide on an unimaginable scale. "There has to be another way," he said. Through the neural link, he felt the elders' attention focus on him with laser intensity. They were curious about this young human who sought a third path when only two had been offered. "Show me," Adam said to the elder. "Show me everything. And show me what we could build together if we chose differently." The visions nearly destroyed his sanity. He saw void fishing operations from the perspective of children being harvested, intelligent beings torn from their nursery before they could mature, their life essence processed into energy while they screamed in frequencies no human ear could detect. But he also saw the elders' civilization in full glory. Species working together, sharing resources and knowledge across galactic distances. Technologies that could manipulate space-time itself. Art painted with stellar radiation and music composed of gravitational waves. Humanity could be part of that, could contribute their unique perspective to a community spanning the galaxy. But only if they could overcome their most destructive impulses. "I understand," Adam said, his voice carrying new authority as he spoke as a conduit for the elders' wisdom. "The harvesting stops immediately. But humanity needs exotic matter to survive. So we need new sources." "Impossible," Voss snapped. "The fishing grounds are our only supply." "No. The elders know of other sources, stellar phenomena that produce exotic matter naturally, without requiring death of sentient beings. They're willing to share that knowledge, but only with a species that proves it can be trusted." "What kind of proof?" Elena asked. The answer came like thunder. The elders wanted humanity to demonstrate commitment to change by shutting down every void fishing operation in their territory, every harvesting station across human space. It would mean collapse of their current energy infrastructure, at least temporarily. "They're asking us to trust them," Adam realized. "To give up our current power source before they show us alternatives." "Madness," Voss growled. I won't let you destroy human civilization based on alien promises. And I won't let you continue committing genocide. The elders grew tired of waiting. Through the neural link, Adam felt their decision crystallizing. If humans wouldn't stop the harvesting voluntarily, the elders would stop it for them. Space around platform Leviathan began to fold as the massive beings prepared to phase shift the entire nursery region. The platform shuddered as dimensional boundaries warped, and emergency alarms sounded throughout the station. They're doing it, Elena gasped. They're moving us out of normal space. Voss raised his rifle, though what he planned to shoot wasn't clear. I won't let this happen. Humanity's survival comes first, no matter the cost. That's when Adam made his choice. Instead of arguing, he reached through the neural link and did something unprecedented. He opened his consciousness completely to the elders' vast intelligence, inviting them to experience humanity not through his words, but through his memories and emotions. He showed them the best of what his species could be, their art, their love, their capacity for sacrifice and growth. But he also showed them the worst. The wars, the cruelty, the tendency toward destruction that had led them to harvest sentient children without asking if those children might have parents who loved them. Most importantly, he showed them his own journey from ignorant fisherman to reluctant guardian. The moment when he first felt the pilot's consciousness and chose compassion over duty. His growing realization of what they had been doing and his desperate desire to make it right. Through his memories, the elder experienced humanity as they truly were, flawed, dangerous, but capable of incredible growth when confronted with the consequences of their actions. The dimensional shifting stopped. In the silence that followed, Adam felt the weight of a galaxy's attention focused on their platform. The elders were debating again, but this time their discussion included something new, hope. Through the neural link, he sensed their conclusion. Humanity would be given one final chance, under strict conditions. They would have to prove their commitment by shutting down harvesting operations and working with the elders to establish new energy sources. The process would take years and require humanity to fundamentally change how they viewed their relationship with other species. But it was possible. The elders had seen the spark of wisdom in Adam's consciousness, and they were willing to nurture it if humanity proved worthy. What's their decision? Elena asked. Probation, Adam replied. They'll help us find new exotic matter sources, but only if we prove we can change. Starting with shutting down every harvesting operation. Voss laughed bitterly. And who's going to enforce this transformation? You. Yes, Adam said simply. You're a fisherman boy. You think you can reshape human civilization? Not alone. Adam looked at Elena, who nodded her support, then at the pilot, whose colors showed determination. But with help. Through the windows, they watched as one of the smaller elders extended a delicate appendage toward the platform. Where it touched the hull, the metal began to transform, becoming something that resembled both technology and living tissue. A gift, the pilot explained. A new interface that will allow your species to communicate with ours directly. The beginning of a partnership that could last millennia. Voss stared at the transforming hull with fascination and revulsion. And what happens to those who refuse to cooperate? The answer came from the transformed hull itself. When Voss approached, the biotechnological interface responded, projecting displays showing every harvesting operation in human space. Platform after platform appeared, each surrounded by ghostly outlines of the children they had been killing. My God, Elena whispered. There are hundreds of them. Dozens of nurseries. Through the neural link, Adam felt the full scope of what humanity had done. 50 years of systematic genocide, carried out with efficiency and ignorance. The number of young beings killed was staggering, not thousands but millions. Yet the elders were still willing to offer partnership instead of punishment. The choice remains, the pilot said. Your species can continue and face isolation from the galactic community, or join us in building something better. Voss lowered his rifle. And if I report this as an alien attack and call for military reinforcements? Then you will discover that your weapons are useless against beings who exist partially outside your dimension, the pilot replied sadly. But more importantly, you will condemn your species to darkness. This offer will not come again. Adam stepped forward. There's another way to look at this, Guild Master. You've spent 50 years building the most efficient harvesting operation in human space. Think what you could accomplish if you applied that expertise to building something constructive. Such as, the elders know about stellar phenomena that produce exotic matter naturally. Solar storms, quantum fluctuations near black holes, energy we can tap safely. They're willing to teach us, to share knowledge that could revolutionize our civilization. Elena moved to study the biotechnological interface, her scanner recording impossible patterns. The readings suggest technology centuries ahead of our own. If we could learn even a fraction, we'd become dependent on alien knowledge, Voss finished. Subordinate to species that mastered spacetime while we learned to make fire. Or we'd become partners in something larger than ourselves, Adam countered. The pilot began moving toward their ship. I must return to my people, to report what I have learned and prepare them for whatever choice your species makes. Wait, Adam called. What's your name? The alien's colors shifted to amusement. In your language, the closest would be Song of Deep Waters Where Stars Are Born. But you may call me Song. Will we see you again? If your species chooses partnership, we will meet many times. I am to be your liaison with the elders, assuming humanity proves worthy. As Song's ship prepared to depart, the biotechnological interface completed its integration with platform Leviathan systems. Through it, Adam could access information about alternative energy sources the elders had discovered throughout the galaxy. The data was overwhelming, star maps showing safe harvesting locations, technological specifications for equipment that could tap exotic matter from natural phenomena, even cultural information about other species that had made similar transitions. But implementing any of it would require shutting down current harvesting operations, at least temporarily. Dr. Vasquez, Adam said, as Chief Science Officer, can we make this transition without causing complete collapse? Elena studied the alien data streaming through the interface, her expression shifting from skepticism to wonder to cautious optimism. It won't be easy. We'll need to retrain our workforce, rebuild equipment, establish new supply chains. But yes, I think it's possible. It could be the greatest advancement in human history. And you, Guildmaster? Voss was quiet for a long moment, studying the data streams and the departing ship. When he finally spoke, his voice carried weight Adam had never heard before, the sound of a man confronting 50 years of unquestioned choices. I joined the guild because I believed we were protecting humanity. Everything I've done was based on that belief. If we've been killing children, we didn't know, Adam said gently. None of us knew. But now we do. Voss looked around the docking bay, at the alien interface, at Elena's readings, at the massive being still visible through the walls. If I authorize shutdown of our harvesting operations, how long do we have before our energy reserves run out? Elena consulted her scanner. 6 months, maybe 8 with rationing. But according to this data, we could have the first alternative stations online within 4 months. And if something goes wrong? Then we'll figure something else out, Adam replied. That's what humans do. We adapt. We survive. Voss's cybernetic eye flickered as it processed calculations only he could see. Finally, he reached a decision that would change human history. Attention all stations, he said, activating his command override. This is Guildmaster Voss with emergency authorization Omega-7. As of this moment, all harvesting operations in this sector are suspended pending comprehensive review of our protocols. The response was immediate and chaotic. Voices flooded the channels as fishermen throughout the platform demanded explanations, protested the shutdown, warned of catastrophic consequences. But Voss cut through the noise with absolute authority. The suspension is not negotiable. We have discovered that our current methods may be causing unintended harm to indigenous life forms. Until we can establish protocols that prevent such harm, all nets are to be recalled and all equipment placed in standby mode. You didn't mention the elders, Adam observed. One revelation at a time, Voss replied grimly. Humanity will have to adjust to partnership with aliens gradually, or we'll have panic and rebellion on every platform. Through the interface, Adam felt a pulse of approval from the elders. They understood the delicate nature of humanity's transition and were willing to remain in the background while their new partners adjusted to a larger universe. As Song's ship disappeared into the void, Adam found himself looking at space with new eyes. The darkness between stars was no longer empty, it teemed with life and intelligence that humanity was only beginning to discover. The work ahead would be enormous. Convincing other guild masters to shut down their operations, retraining thousands of void fishermen, establishing diplomatic relations with species that operated on cosmic timescales. But for the first time since he'd cast his first energy net into the void, Adam felt hopeful. Humanity had been given a chance to grow beyond their destructive origins, to become gardeners of space rather than harvesters of it. Whether they would prove worthy remained to be seen. But as Adam watched Elena begin analyzing alien technologies that could revolutionize human civilization, And as Voss started the complex process of reshaping an institution that had defined humanity's relationship with space for 50 years, he began to believe that his species might surprise everyone, including themselves. The void fishermen would fish no more. But what they would become could be something far greater than anything they had lost.